We are live.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Crystal Mitchell. How are you, ma'am?
I am good. Hold on, I gotta get my I'm not connected to my ears. All right. I
There
am
you go.
excellent. And you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Oh,
It's been a
good.
while since I've seen you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Before the holiday, I think our last time was just a couple weeks before, or a week before the Christmas, and so yes, it's been 3 weeks. Yeah, total of 3 weeks. A
You
wild
still look
in.
great.
Thank you. A lot. I rested during the holidays, so I did nothing,
There you go. There you
and
go.
so that was that. And then I came into the new year, and it's been a bang.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah, yeah. I had some
You,
friends that lost their
you're.
home.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
gonna ask. Yeah.
yeah. I
Really.
got a number of friends that lost their homes in Altadena.
In Altadena.
Altadena is actually uh, so the black areas used to be was Inglewood, Compton, where I am, and then Altadena. So 71% of the people that live in Altadena are black.
Oh, I see. I see.
And they've been there for generations and generations. Their parents left their homes to them. So it's those are the individuals that couldn't couldn't buy in Pasadena,
Right.
and so they went to an area just up above Pasadena.
Mm,
So a lot of
okay.
black people live up there. So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of sad, and they of course not getting the same love as the West Side is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's pretty sad what's going on.
It really is. Oh man.
Hmm.
Do you know other folks up there?
I know quite a few people up there. One of my good friends, in fact, that's how I found out. Another friend of mine was had lost their home. I was looking for him. I knew he lived in uh, Altadena, and I was looking for him. And I've been calling and texting, and I wasn't getting anything. And so I called another friend of ours. He sits on their nonprofit board, the Crenshaw Chamber, and so I called him, and he said, yeah, he had spoken to him, and he lost his garage and his guest house, but he said, but I lost my whole house, and so did my family. They lived around the corner,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
and so yeah, there's been whole neighborhoods just wiped out. But I will say this: our community have come together and they've all rallied up to help. And so that's what we do in our community. We help each other.
I
So
think that's why they call it community, right?
yeah, I think so.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so this has been kind of an interesting first 10 days or first 10 days into the new year.
Yeah. Talk about
So
starting with a bang.
yeah, though LA was under attack pretty much. And I think at this point they're thinking, if not all, definitely majority of them were actually arson or set.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
at first I thought it was lightning or something like that.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, the
Arson.
one, Kenneth fire was set. They arrested him yesterday.
Oh,
Eaton, they haven't found that person, but they believe that it was arson as well. And actually, the Pacific Palace Aids, I read this morning or late last night, actually, that it started because someone uh, shot off a firecracker. I guess it was in a barbecue pit or
really?
a fire pit, but
Uh,
they had also done the same thing on New Year's Eve, and it set a fire then. And the fire department came out and had to put the fire out on New Year's Eve, and then they did it again on last Monday. So
oh my goodness.
there's a whole lot of homes destroyed for irresponsibility because at that time I think the winds were moving at about here in my area about somewhere between 60 and 75 miles an hour. In
Yep.
that area, because it's on the beach, it was probably closer to that 100.
Wow.
So I don't know what that's all going to look like, but a lot of devastation because of some really crazy, stupid people.
Yeah, that is so
Yeah.
sad. Well, my condolences for your loss. I know that must be tough. Have
Mm-hmm.
you lost some? Have you lost any relatives? Any
Mm-mm.
folks you know? No,
No,
just
I'm the only one out here. My
just
sister and everybody, we're probably about 15 miles away, and they
okay.
didn't come to our area. We did see, I did hear of some fires being set, but they were stopped before they was able to get to any size to do damage.
Oh, so you had arsonists down there where you are as well.
Mm-hmm. They're
Oh,
all over the city,
oh
all
my
over the
goodness!
city. Santa Monica, they caught somebody setting fire to at Santa Monica High School. This is right after Pally High burnt down.
Really?
I don't know what the motive is, what the sickness in their head is. Can't even tell you.
You know, it is tough if you don't flow that way. How do you reconcile that? You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
they're dealing with a different reality. It'll be interesting to see why they did what they did when it comes out. But that's
Yeah.
one of the
So.
reasons why I wanted to do this show. Sadly, you know, the that part of LA County has been
Mm-hmm.
deemed um, a disaster zone. So
Yeah.
that's going to allow Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass to come up with some monies and FEMA help and all that kind of stuff. The government can start working and bringing resources to bear. Um, let's read your bio, and then we'll jump
Okay.
into our
Sounds good.
topic.
How was your holiday? Real quick before we read my bio.
Oh, you know, it was my time, so my time was
Oh.
good. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure my time is good. Okay,
Okay.
it was my time. Yeah, it was
Oh.
nice and mellow. But thank you for asking.
Okay.
Well, everyone, please help me welcome my friend and colleague Crystal Mitchell to Conversations on the Patio. Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, co-host of the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, that other radio online show. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Hey, Crystal. How you
Hey
doing?
everyone. Happy New Year. Glad to see you and be here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're
To
here.
say hello.
After all of that destruction, I thought, you know, there's a lot of folks who say about 401k plans that why should I put money in there? I'm going to need that. And of course, you know, my first suggestion is in times when we don't have a disaster, you know, start that emergency fund. It does so much for you. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive, allows you to put more in, it allows you to manipulate your finances. And
Right.
that's not to say that, you know, you got to have it all done at one time. I'm not saying that. You know, you can set a 3, 4, maybe even 5 year um, path
Oh. Mm-hmm.
goal. Yeah, great word. Thank you for getting that done. But just having that mindset that you've got one can be really helpful, and especially in times like this. So I want to jump into the topic of how do you use your 401k in a disaster? How do you do that? What's the best way to go about it? And there's a couple of things out there. First of all, number one is you have to be eligible. That is, you have to be in the plan. So start there, right? Get in the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never heard of an organization that lends you money that's not yours. So you are going to be using your money. But because of the Secure Act and Section 331 of the Secure Act specifically, when the federal government declares an area a disaster zone, they usually allow monies to be freed up. At least that's the overall principle. To be honest with you, I haven't seen it happen, so this is going to be an interesting experience. Um, the you could almost say that the ink isn't really dry on the changes that they made to the Secure Act. But as it is, number one, check your eligibility, and I might add in a couple of ways. First of all, check that you're in the plan. Let's do that. And then second, check that the issue that you're talking about has been declared a disaster. And for those of our listeners that are in Los Angeles, that those five to six fires that we have going there, they have been declared disaster areas. So that's cool. Okay. The next thing is when we talk about disaster recovery, there's a couple of different ways to go, right? The one that's most comes to my mind is, okay, I need to make a withdrawal. So how do I do that? It's just normal. You go to your carrier, make that withdrawal. There's a new thing in retirement plans where participants can self-certify their hardship withdrawals.
Okay.
Yep. So you don't, if your plan allows it, that's a whole thing there. Your plan has to sign up. They have to quote unquote amend their plan document, because a 401k plan is really just it's a document. It's an arrangement that someone makes with the Department of Labor to take money out of your paycheck and put it into investments. And so the government has a document that they need to have rules explained and ways of going about that. So that document is the plan document.
Okay.
So the plan document typically needs to be amended. I've been talking with folks that handle documents for companies that have 401k plans, and they are just assuming that people are going to do self-certification when it comes to those hardship withdrawals. And so they're going ahead and updating those documents, and lots of them aren't even charging. So if you happen to be a plan sponsor or someone that owns the business or an HR person, just check and see if you have Section 331 or if you have an updated document that allows for withdrawal. So that's the regular withdrawal. There's some special withdrawals that only come about in a disaster.
Okay.
Yeah. So how about that? So, and I don't think there's a special name for it, except for maybe it's called a disaster withdrawal, to my knowledge. But there's access up to about $22,000. And the cool thing about that is you don't have to pay the 10% penalty, which you normally would if you had a hardship withdrawal. And now this is the tricky one that we haven't quite tested. But you can pay the withdrawal back if you want to over 3 years.
Oh, okay. Was that the one, and I know it had a very short lifespan, but is that what happened during the pandemic? I remember that was an option for a short window.
Yes,
during
you
that
have
time.
a great memory.
Okay.
We did have something like that. I don't know how short the window was, but you're right. We had something like that where you could borrow the money. You could take the money out. Let's make a withdrawal for money. And then you could pay it back. You could tack it onto your income, or you could pay it back over 3 years.
Okay.
And I remember when we first got that, accountants were like, "We don't even know how to put that on your paperwork. How do we do that?" And so, great idea, but they had to go through the process. As many things in our government are great idea, but we have to go through figuring out how we're going to get that done exactly. But same concept.
Oh, okay. Well, look at it. Lo and behold, 4 years later, hopefully they figured it out, and or 5 years later, they figured it out, and now they're all on point.
Exactly. and I don't really have a whole lot to say about that, except if you run into that snag, and God bless you if you do, connect with your financial advisor. That'd be someone like me, your retirement plan advisor, who can actually take a look at that document or make contact for you, because I'm sure that's a horrible time to try to deal with a large organization. That could be kind of tough.
Yeah.
But most people I talk to I generally deal with fairly large organizations when it comes to holding on to assets for people. And so most of those folks are extremely sensitive to what's going on. So it's not like you're going to call someone and get a deaf ear or someone that doesn't care. Everybody's concerned. We all want to help. Everybody I know in this industry is doing whatever we can to get you the money as fast as you can, make it easy for you, and all that kind of stuff. So I think the first thing to remember is, since it is a disaster zone, number one, make sure you're in the plan. Make sure you've got money in the plan, because you can't get money out that you don't have. So it's not like you get free money from the plan. That's not the way this is. You can get your own money out. So qualified in this case means, has the situation been declared a disaster zone?
Okay.
Have you lost that? Have you lost the business? Have you lost your home? So make sure that happens. We've got that. And then you can access up to $22,000 in this special kind of disaster withdrawal that allows you to take out up to $22,000. You don't have, as far as I know, there's no paperwork to fill out. You can pretty much self-certify that you did that. When you file your taxes, that's when you're gonna, settle that with your paperwork, your
Right.
filing. And then you can make the decision then or prior to that as to whether you're going to pay it back. You can start paying it back. You can call it a loan. Doesn't hit your tax liability. Doesn't hit your taxes then. If you
Okay.
Right, which is pretty cool. So, and that's that. Any questions about that?
No, it's just, I mean, right now, that's what everyone needs, is to hear that, what are my options, whether they take it or not? What are the options that I have? So, I mean, it's wonderful that I think I got a message this morning. This is not free money. This is actually a loan, but the SBA is providing disaster relief monies for loans for individuals, especially if it comes to rebuilding their homes. And then they're going to, I think Governor Newsom came out this morning and indicated that they were going to lift the red tape that it takes to build homes. And it's interesting because where I live in South Central LA, they've been building apartments or dwellings to meet the unhoused population. And you can drive by one day and you can see the area excavated, and then the next week you come up and the whole entire frame is up, and then about 3 weeks later the whole building's up and they got a sign to bring people in. So they have already kind of figured that out just for that particular disaster, and so they should hopefully use those same means for those that need to rebuild their homes.
I hope so. I really, really do. Such a travesty. So many people, and not just people, their pets and their wildlife, their livestock. Let's put it there. Their livestock. Nobody gets out of this unscathed.
No one gets out unscathed. And the other thing is, there are always those predators that are looking for an opportunity, the opportunists, as we call them. And so we do want people to realize that be very careful so that you don't get scammed during this time, because they seem to come out. They've already come out of the woodwork. On Tuesday, they were already up and ready to pounce on people. So just make sure, even as Jevon said, you want to speak to your representative, your retirement plan advisor, or your plan representative at your job. Don't just somebody off the street or an email that you receive.
Right. Please do.
Because a lot of times they know that this is really affecting seniors and older people, and immigrants are usually the people, and minorities are usually the people that are attacked and during these times. So just be very, very careful. It's best to contact some organizations. There are a number of organizations in the city that can help you verify whether or not whatever you're being told is correct. But if it's your 401k, you can actually go to your HR department and they can let you know that this is the plan administrator or the plan that they are using, not some other off the kilter place. So, and that's a sad part of life today, is people taking opportunities to create more drama for you when you already have enough. So they've lifted the red tape so that you can rebuild your houses. I'm going to highly suggest that you build, especially in those areas that. The one thing that's wonderful about California, and I'm sure Jevon, you can say this as well, for when you were in Alaska, right? It's beautiful because of all of the foliage, the trees, the whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we like about California, is that you look out and you see green trees, and where if you live in urban areas, a lot of times you can't do that. Well, the downside to that is that when we have no rain, and we have not had rain since May of 2024, all that beauty turns into dry leaves and brush and trees, and it's overgrown because it's just overgrown, right? So you want to make sure you cut your trees back, and don't fight the the people coming around telling you to cut your trees back. Cut your trees back. There's a reason for that, and make sure you clean up all the debris outside, all the leaves and so forth, so that there's nothing laying down. So that's what, as a gardener, that's what we did yesterday. We cleaned up everything that could possibly burn out there in the event something like that happened, and we pulled all the weeds and stuff, and tossed them into trash and put them out for the trash man to pick up tomorrow. So be careful, because some of this stuff we can prevent on our own, making sure our house. But when you go to rebuild, I know it might be a little bit more expensive, but fire retardant or fire resistant materials, more concrete than wood, things like that, and stucco and things that don't burn. So you really need to do your homework so that you don't find yourself in this position again.
I can't say any more about that. Is so spot on, so spot on. I really appreciate that message. Thank you for putting that out there.
You're welcome.
That makes a lot of sense. I would only add a couple of things, and that is, like you said, go slow when it comes to trusting people. It's okay to. I know, like you said, this is the worst time for you to be asking someone for advice, but you have to do that, I guess.
Right. Find someone that you can trust. Find an organization, a nonprofit organization that's there.
Be careful. Don't go hesitant to take these offers that people are throwing at you.
Right. Exactly. And then there's legal aid. You can call them. Actually, the fraudulent. There's a telephone number for the FTC, which is the fraudulent division of the federal government. Reach out to them. They know what the current frauds are. Call your local police department. They know, because they've already been telling people to be careful. I mean, this is how sad. I guess this is just the world we live in today. On Monday, that was when the fires, and by the evening, everybody knew what was happening. There were already people setting up fraudulent GoFundMe pages. So be very careful. Only go to organizations, or send the money directly to the people that using your Cash App or what have you. Do not. Just make sure you vet the GoFundMes that are coming out for families to help them, because the criminals or the opportunists, but they're criminals. They're on their job. They're always on their job. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on. I want to just put in here that in a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about 1033 and 1031 exchanges a little bit. We'll bring some real estate folks in and, you know, help folks with what they're going to do. I mean, if they get that insurance check, just give them a little bit of guidance about how a 1033 works or how a 1031 exchange works. And if that's the way they want to go, then there are some financial advisors out there that can help with that. And then, you know, just to give people options so they can walk into those situations a little bit better armed than just getting them cold.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. And the other part of that as well is really kind of taking stock of everything that you lost. You know, some of your everything, right? Because when you do your taxes next year, it won't be this year because we've already in tax season for 2024. A lot of this you will be able to take as a loss. I mean, you can't replace pictures and things, memorials, and I think everybody's walking around their house looking like, okay, what if I had to? What could I? You know, things that are irreplaceable, right? And there are a number of lists online about maintaining, keeping all your insurance documents, your social security card, all of those things, maybe putting them in a fire resistant lockbox or safe when you're house, because those are the things, your passport, or visas and things like that for people that are here. All those papers that are very, you know, time consuming to recover. And if you're, and I'm going to say this for as far as the retirement community, if you're very close to retirement right now, and you need all of that when you go to apply for your birth certificate, the original one or the certified one, in order to apply for Social Security, in order to, you know, get your benefits. So if you're in that 64 or 65, start putting those things in a safe place. Maybe send them to a relative or somewhere, or a safe, what do you call it? Safe deposit box at the bank.
Good
This
idea.
makes you think about things. I mean, you would look around and you're like, oh my God, what would happen if I lost, you know, these important documents,
Right.
your stock portfolios, you know, things that were in a desk that, you know, pertain to your upcoming retirement. I mean, there are documents elsewhere, but you know, you got to be able to prove who you are in order to get to them. So just those things, common sense things, but didn't seem to need them right away. So now we should be in a different mindset, I guess.
Yeah, you know, be vigilant with
Be vigilant. It's a good word. So
yours.
we can end the show with being vigilant.
Well, Crystal, it was a pleasure meeting with you. I tell you what, I'm going to go through your bio one more time.
Okay.
I'll let you have the last word, and then we'll let folks go for this half hour, and then come back on next week.
Okay.
So, everyone, has been a pleasure hanging out with you folks, and good talking with Crystal Mitchell. Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars and co-host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. I'm Jevon Thomas, licensed retirement plan advisor. This has been Conversations on the Patio, and Crystal, I will let you have the last word.
Okay, so we're just going to say, just be vigilant. Think about what's happening, and thank God, and prayers and blessings to all that have suffered losses, and you know, we are here for you. So don't be afraid to reach out. But just for those of us that just by the grace of God, we're not in this situation, but you know, kind of think about what that would look like and what we need to do to prevent something drastic like that happening to our home, but as well as what if it did, and how would you protect your valuables that are hard to replace?
Cool. Great. Thank you, Crystal. Wonderful hanging out with you. We'll see you next week on Conversations on the Patio.
All righty. Bye-bye, everyone.